Hello! In this video I'm going to explain how to download and install Logic 2010. So if you're watching this on the website, then on the page you should see there's a link to the Logic 2010 download site, and there's also a link out there in the module. So we're going to go ahead, first thing we're going to do is click on that link and open the download site. So there's this license agreement which basically says the program can destroy your computer, and too bad. Every program you ever put on your computer is like that. This program will do nothing to your computer, and so we're going to agree to the terms. Now we need to find the program. So if you're on Windows, then you're up top here, you find this Logic 2010 for Windows link. Ignore links say here, always look for Logic 2010 for whatever kind of computer you're using. So Logic 2010 for Windows, or since I'm on a Mac, I'm going to scroll down and get to Logic 2010 for Macintosh, and I'm going to click on that link. And it's going to start to download. Depending upon your internet speed, the download may take, something like a minute or two. So now that the download is complete, I want to open up that file. So if you're on a Windows machine, whether you're on Windows or Mac, there's going to be what's called a zip file. That's a file that kind of compresses the application, makes it smaller to move it around, and then it can be, your computer can blow that up and it will be the full program. So you want to open that zip file. If you're on a Windows machine, then when you do this opening, it's going to actually install the program for you and put it somewhere on your computer. If you're not sure where it's put on your computer, you can use the Windows key down in the bottom left hand of your keyboard. You hit the Windows key and you'll be able to search your computer. Just type in Logic or Logic 2010 and it will show you where it is. Now if you're on a Mac, the installation process is a little bit more involved, and I'm going to go through that now. If you're on Windows, you can go ahead and skip to right around the 6-minute mark where I finish up with the Mac installation process and then go through actually setting up your account in Logic 2010. Although this process is a little bit involved, you're going to want to bear with me and just go through each step, so maybe pausing the video as I'm moving along to repeat each step. Fortunately, you only have to do this once, and once Logic is installed on your computer this one time, which will take maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 minutes, after that you'll be good to go and you won't have to do this and it will open normally. But so let's go ahead and get it set up. So the first thing we have to do if we're on a Mac is move Logic 2010 to a place where it's going to run properly. And the best place to put that by far is in your Applications folder. So how do you find your Applications folder? Well, we want to have the Downloads folder open, and then we need to move it, the Logic program. So here, if we look on the left, there's a bunch of stuff, and then among other places, I have my Applications folder right there. It's actually beneath my Downloads folder. So I'm going to grab Logic 2010 and I can drag it to the Applications folder. Now, you might not have this. This sidebar might not be showing. So how do you do that? How do you show it? Well, one way to do it is to go click on View and click, well, if you're not showing it, then you go there and you click Show Sidebar right here. Okay, so if this is what your screen looks like, you don't have that sidebar, go to View, click Show Sidebar, and then your Applications folder is almost certainly going to be in there. So then we'll drag the Logic 2010 to the Applications folder and drop it there. So now we can go to the Applications folder and we are going to find Logic 2010. Now, we can try just double-clicking on it the way you would normally open an application. And that you would hope would work. Unfortunately, it doesn't, because it's going to say Logic 2010 can't be opened, and you're only going to have the options to move it to the trash or to cancel. None of those are good. So we're going to try to open it, so we'll click cancel, and we're going to try to open it in 2 different ways. The first simpler way is we're going to hold down the Control key, which is down in the bottom left, near the bottom left-hand corner of your keyboard. So it's Control or CTRL. While holding that down, we're going to double-click on Logic. We're going to click on Logic, and we're going to get this menu. And then we're going to click Open here. And if you're lucky, then you get a different pop-up menu like I just did that's going to have the option to open Logic 2010. And that's what we hope happens. And but it might not. So if you got that open menu, just go ahead and click Open, and you can skip ahead. But if you didn't get that open menu, if you got the same thing that just has Move to Trash or Cancel, then you want to click Cancel, and we need to do something else. So what are we going to do instead? We're going to go into our system's settings. How do we do that? There are a lot of ways. The easiest way is to go up to the Mac Apple menu, click on that, And the first option is about this Mac. The second is System Settings. So we're going to click on System Settings. And who knows how it's going to load up, okay? But you want to open Privacy and Security. And you can get there by scrolling down. It's in the bottom of the third cluster. Or you can type Privacy and Security here and it will get you there. So we'll click on that. When you go into this part of Privacy and Security, the first part is the privacy part, which we don't care about for our purposes right now. We need to scroll down until we get to the security part. This first part we also don't care about. What we care about is this. It's going to say Logic 2010 was blocked from use because it is not from an identified developer, and we're going to click Open anyway. And we get this message, and now we have the option to say Open. So that's what we're going to do. And now the Logic program is going to actually open the way we want it to. And now it brings up, and now we actually have the Logic program, and now we can go ahead and get registered. And so welcome back, Windows users. So we're going to click, we need to choose our institution. So these are buttons here. So we need to, where it says Demo, we need to click here and find the institution that we're at. And you're taking this course with me, there are a couple of different institutions you might be at. You might be at Cal Poly Palm or ELCO or LBCC. So find whichever institution you're at and click that. I'm going to demonstrate this for LBCC Fall of 2024, so I'm going to click LBCC. Now, it's going to fill in a term and a course, and hopefully it's going to fill in the right term. And in this case, it has Fall of 2024 from when I'm recording this. If it's a different term, if it's the wrong term, then click the date and choose the term you want. But it's going to be filled in correctly. So good, we'll then go ahead and click OK. And we're going to have to do this update. Whenever it asks you to update, say update. So it's going to look like the Logic program has quit, but then it flashes back up, and it's going to say it needs to do an update again. So we're going to click yes, update. And now that we've done those updates, we're going to click register. When you come back and use the program again, you might click restore, but this time you're going to click register. So you're going to put in your student ID. I'm going to put in a made-up student ID because I already have a separate student account with my own ID here. And I'm going to click register. Then you're going to put in your name. So I'll put in my name. This email address will almost never be used, but just in case, put in an email address. And now make up a password. This password, you don't really need to worry about security with this, so you actually want to make this a very simple password, and you definitely want it to be something that is not a password you use anywhere else. So I'm going to do 123 for this account. Okay, very simple. And it can be as simple as that for these purposes. Just because of how we're using the Logic program, you don't need to worry about your password. So we're going to click Create. It says we're going to sample submission data every so often, but the statistics are not linked to individual users. So I'll know, for example, on average, how long did a certain homework problem take, but I won't know how long it took any individual student, like, say, you. Okay, so here we are controlling the visual preferences. So we can set the font size. If we want the font to be bigger, we could say maybe, I don't know, 18. And then right now, this is all in grayscale. It's all between black and white, the colors, basically. You're going to see if you click monochrome, it's going to stay that way. If you don't click monochrome, then certain parts of the program will be blue and gold. That's because this program was developed at UCLA, and those are UCLA's colors. If you don't like blue and gold, then click monochrome, and you can change this setting whenever you start the program. So if you don't click monochrome now, you'll see what blue and gold look like, and if you don't like that, the next time you come in, click monochrome, and it will remember your settings, so you won't have to change it each time. So we'll go ahead and click monochrome. It's probably easier to look at for almost everybody, so you might want to consider just clicking monochrome right away, but you can always do it later. So we're now a fully restored Logic 2010 user, so great. And just briefly, to tell you what this Logic 2010 program looks like, there are these three groups of buttons. There's the top group, the middle group, the bottom group. The top group is the different modules within the program where you'll be doing different kinds of homework. So you might have a symbolization homework. For the next module in the course, you're going to have homework that you have to do in the symbolization module of the program, and then subsequently you'll do work in the derivations and recognizing rules modules. These are different buttons that will give you different documents telling you about how the program works. Then down here, there's this assignments button that will take you to a page that will show you the Logic 2010 assignments for this course. You log in there using the user ID you just created, and doing that will be described at more length in the next module. Course website will take you to the Canvas website. And then there's backup, delete, work, and quit. As long as you're going to be using your just really one computer to do your work, then always choose quit. But if you're going to be working on more than one computer, then click backup and then click delete work and quit, because you can move your work from one computer to another, having your work stored in the cloud. So if you think you're going to be doing your work on different computers, then when you're done, click backup and then delete work and quit. So that's it. If you've gotten this far, you now have a setup Logic account, and that's all you need to do for that first homework, for that particular part of the homework, so you're good to go. If you have any questions, please let me know.